So, we got some new photos regarding Thomas and Friends, The Big Life Tour. For those of you who don't know what the Thomas and Friends Big Life Tour is, in 2002, the world was introduced to Thomas and Friends The Big Life Tour, a stage show with your favorite Sodor engines, Percy, Thomas, and James, and Gordon. That wasn't until they wrapped up the show in 2007, due to the props used in the show being in very poor condition. We got some new photos of how they are now. Well, before where they ended up now. Let's take a look, shall we? And shout out to the Thomas and FR1 for giving us these photos. The first photo we have is of Percy. As you can see, his number 6 is all spray painted over with green spray paint, and as well as a smoke box. And you're probably wondering why they did this to the engines, like getting rid of their numbers. That's because they're trying to make them Thomas less, take away the Thomas from them. Alright, so the next photo we have is of James, and we see a side view of him. There's something coming out of his little window. It turns out to be some sort of cloth or some pants, I don't know. And his smoke box is spray painted, and you also see a hand right here. Pretty strange. And also the top part of his funnel is missing, and also his whistle is missing too. We also have one of Thomas's coaches, but we don't know if it's Annie or Clarabelle. It's basically because they sprayed off the names for these coaches too. The names for these coaches were Annie and Clarabelle. This one is basically just a right view of Percy. As you can see, everything is still the same. We also get to see the inside of Percy, and there's the same control panel we saw before. If none of you are familiar with this, you probably don't know what this is. But if you are a Thomas and Friends fan, you probably might know, all about Thomas, and even the Big Life Tour. If you want to see an entire history of Thomas and Friends The Big Life Tour, I suggest you go watch the history of Thomas and Friends The Big Life Tour by Careless Engine. The link to that video is in the description below. So the next photo we have is of Percy, the inside of him once again. This is where the people would usually sit down to drive him. We also see a front view of Percy. As you can see, his face is gone. He's no longer Percy, the one that we knew today. One of the coaches' faces has been spray painted over, so we don't know which coach this is. So the next one we have is of Gordon's face. As you can see, it's pretty dirty, and it's almost in complete good condition. All you gotta do is just clean it up, and he's good as new. Oh boy, look at James's face. It looks terrible. He must have been doing the worst workouts.
No, I do not. And if you say something like that again about my face, you'll end up just like me. Beautiful.
We also have another view of James. As you can see, his face is covered up. And there's also his tender behind him, and also Percy. We also get to see what James looks like without his face covered up. Well, it's basically just the same as Percy. We also get to see what the inside of James looks like. As you can see, there's some sort of blanket or cloth, huge cloth inside of him, and there's also that chair that you sit down. And there's also the same control panel. I also have some bonus photos I want to show you. 2 of them, actually. You're probably all thinking that this is what Thomas would look like if he was painted, like the Big Life Tour model we see. No, it just turns out to be a smaller model of Thomas. This model would usually be up where the windmill is, and he would drive by the windmill. But this was scrapped because I thought it would be a little too hard to do. Another photo on the small Thomas model being done. And that is it for all the photos. And you're probably wondering, where are all these props now? Well, Percy and James are at an AG Tire Recycling located in the UK. See, you can see Percy, James, and the coach right there. And no, they're not there to be broken up. They're there for the collection. As you can see right there, it says Waste Type Collections. But I don't know where Gordon, Jack, and Harold are. There was also a Harold model and a Jack model. But you're probably wondering, where's Thomas? How come he's not with them? Well, Thomas was meant to go on display on the Telltale Productions headquarters, but that fell through, and he was sent with the Bob the Builder models used in the Bob the Builder live show to be cut up and destroyed. It just really sucks to see our favorite childhood character go and just get destroyed. And I'm just wondering why Thomas's model was the first one to go. I mean, I'm happy the models are still around, but whether it's in bad condition or not, I still wish Thomas's model was still here also. And now this song will be much different now.
But things are not the same as before. Mistakes I make no one can ignore. I keep my paintwork looking fine. I try so hard to be on time, but I'm not a useful engine anymore. useful engine anymore.
And we also have some photos of what Thomas looked like before he went. As you can see, he's almost in pretty good condition. I don't know why they just had to destroy him like that. He looks just good as new. Like nothing's wrong with him. Why'd you have to do this? And with that, we have come to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe if you did. Well, you don't really have to if you want to. And make sure to join me on my Discord server, the link in the description below. And yeah, so this was a really fun video to make. I love researching about the tours. And shout out to the Thomas and FR1 for giving us these photos. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Woo!